How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Day of the Dead, the TV series. We're going to talk about Season 1, Episode 4. This one's entitled Forest of the Damned. This is from November 5th, 2021, and is once again directed by Steven Kostanski, who directed all the previous episodes, so I'm thinking he's probably going to go all season. We'll see, but probably. This once again stars Keenan Tracey, Daniel Doheny, and Natalie Malaika, and is loosely based on the Day of the Dead movie by George A. Romero. Now, I want to say, and I've said this before, I really want this show to be good, and I think there is potential to have a good zombie show somewhere in here, although, like I said, very loosely based on Romero's work. They've gone off in a whole nother direction. But I think there is some potential here, and Episode 1 and 2 weren't that great. They were pretty rocky. Episode 3, though, was a high point. It got a lot better in Episode 3. It focused on the zombies. Characters were coming together. I liked Episode 3. Now, Episode 4, though, is sadly a step down. It's not as bad as 1 and 2, but you can see the show returning to its old trappings, and it's a lot less of a focused episode. Let's talk about, the major things. The morgue crew decides to split up, which is not a great idea. Characters coming together was making the plot more focused, and, getting to see the characters interact with each other was better. But the morgue crew decides to split up. Cam and the doctor want to go to two different places, and Lauren just kind of disappears, Lauren's one of the better characters in the show. Once she drops off her passengers, she's not really in the episode too much after that, or at all. I don't think she's in it at all. I guess she's just waiting in the parking lot in the hearse? I don't know, maybe I'm forgetting something, but I think she just kind of disappears, We also get the return of unimportant plots, the mayor worrying about PR and stuff, and we also get the wedding taking up a lot of space, even though we all know the wedding's gonna be called off because of zombies. There's a lot of wedding stuff in this episode. Speaking of the mayor, she does something super annoying in this episode, and we'll talk about that. I know the mayor is one of people's least favorite characters, and what she does in this episode is going to cost several lives in this town. But also, the two plots that it kind of focuses on for longer in this episode, the forest and the secret laboratory, there's a lot of sneaking around and a little bit of fighting, but the sneaking around stuff gets a little bit too long and meandering, and it's not as quick and tight and focused as it could have been. So this is kind of a meandering episode, and plus the sneaking around the lab stuff isn't really too much zombies. The forest is at least zombies. But yeah, a little bit of a meandering, sneaking around episode. Let's go ahead and talk a bit about that plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this episode's about. And I'm basically just going to say where we put all our characters this time around. So, the morgue crew, like I mentioned, they decide to split up. They're all driving in the hearse, and Cam decides to go and tell the police. Lauren wants to avoid them, so they just drop Cam off. They think his dad's gonna be there, but he's not. He's disappeared. Obviously, we're gonna talk about him in a minute, and everybody thinks he's drunk. He's apparently got an alcohol problem, so Cam sadly does not find his dad there. When he goes into the police station, he arrives at about the same time as the mayor. By the way, when Cam walks in, he's covered in blood. I mean, I guess he is a detective's son, but you think walking into a police station covered in blood, you'd at least get someone asking you what happened, It's kind of weird. But Cam tells the chief of police about the zombies, And I think we've seen the Chief a little bit before, not too much. Here's the first episode where we really get to know her, and she seems fine. She's not a new jerk character. There's been so many new characters where it's like, hey, they're jerks, and I'm glad that this is not another one of those. She doesn't really get too much to do, and she kind of gets plowed over by the mayor, so there's that. Cam tells her about the zombies. The mayor's there, and the mayor goes, "Zombies? That's ridiculous." Even though they were both just at the Gray Mile, and they both literally seen zombies, the mayor is more worried about PR, and in turn, the chief, who was about to call in for state-sponsored help, the mayor talks her out of that and says, whoa, this is nothing, don't call them. And that's frustrating. The mayor just stopped them from getting the help they need because she's worried about PR. And this is sort of the thing that's really frustrating. Yeah, they're not getting help, but also, what is she really thinking, Like, does she think she can actually cover up the zombies? That's pretty ridiculous. There's zombies running around everywhere. I think it would be better if you were known as the mayor that stopped them and not the mayor that denied them and let everybody get eaten. Even if it did work in the short term, in the long term, people would notice and you'd be forced to resign. But yeah, I don't know what her plan is here, because she can't cover up the zombies, and a bunch of people are gonna die now for a stupid decision that really doesn't make much sense. But whatever. The doctor wants to go save his wife and gets dropped off at his wedding, and there's a guy there. It's his fiance's best friend, and I think it's implied that he kind of likes her and is super upset she's getting married, but he kind of takes him and says, "What's this zombie stuff?" And he actually slaps him, which was kind of funny. But he's like, "What's this zombie stuff?" The fiance's dad is also there, and the two of them like force him into his tuxedo and is like, "Stop this, you're gonna get married." And I think if it was a better comedy, this situation might be funny, but it really does feel like the writer's going, "Hey audience, we're forcing him to get married, we're also forcing you to watch this subplot that is not gonna go anywhere." So that's what he's doing. The two big new things in this episode is the forest. The mayor's son and his best friend are wandering throughout the forest, and they find the party eventually. The friend finds the party, and everybody there is messed up and wrecked. It's actually a pretty good gore moment, finding all these bodies in the forest. There's some creative setups with the bodies there. I think there's like a bike with one hand on the handle or something. So it's a good reveal. And they run around, and at first the friend thinks it's a bear, and the mayor's son thinks it's the the infields? Easter egg to Conjuring 2, I guess. But yeah, the mayor's son thinks it's the infields, which, is it supposed to actually be them? Like, we saw the one body pop up from the river, did this family actually drown and the zombies are bringing them back to life? I don't know, but they talk about this legend again, and the zombies are running around, and we do get a bunch of, chase and escape moments. And it's not the best, but it is legitimate zombie action. You actually see the walkers running around the forest. So there's something here, even if it's not the best. It's still a fun zombie chase that I wish this show would have more of. So it's okay. Is it worth dragging around a beer keg for 2 episodes to get to this? Maybe not really. We could have got here much faster, but we had to drag that beer keg for 2 episodes to get here. Also, the mayor's son's friend, I was really bugging me. I'm like, what's on his shirt? And they never got a clear shot. He has a shirt with a pineapple wearing women's underwear. I think that's what it's supposed to be. That's a very strange shirt. Is this some sort of pun that I'm missing? I don't know. But anyway, the last section. The last section deals with the sheriff, or the detective rather. He wakes up, he's found his finger missing, and you think he's in a hospital, but he busts out of there, and he finds that he's actually in a secret underground laboratory, and it's him sneaking around, trying to avoid the guards. He finds, because he doesn't want to wear his hospital scrubs, he finds the bub outfit. So, again, it's a case of the character's not actually named what we thought they were, but he just found the bub outfit. But at least we're seeing where we got to in the fast forward. So he's wearing his outfit, and we get to see a little bit with the science. They don't explain everything, but they are talking about the mitochondria, and how it's being overstimulated and bringing stuff back from the dead. And I guess I get that would make things move, but how does it make things respond intelligently, Like, I can see a finger standing there twitching, but it just being like an idle biological function. But the arm actually knew what it was doing when it opened up the morgue drawers. Now, they could do something like Bride of Reanimator, try to say consciousness exists within the whole body, and they may try to explain it later, but they throw out this how it could move independently. I'm like, yeah, move, but how is it thinking? Does it develop a small brain? I don't know. But there is a conflict between the detective, the scientist, and the lady who called the detective is going to try to go in and save them, and you get a big sneaking around the lab section. Again, not necessarily something that has to do with zombies. A fun enough action sequence. I'd rather have an action sequence than debating fracking. But yeah, not really zombies, and, just a little meandering, But it's fine, I guess, I was kind of thinking, a secret underground lab. I was thinking this might be like the first Resident Evil movie, but of course there's not near enough budget for that. But it's an okay segment. But yeah, that's the thing. This episode focused on the sheriff going through the laboratory and the mayor's son and his friend going through the forest. And I think, both sequences were okay. It's just they were both a little meandering. The forest did actually have zombies, so thank goodness for that. But it wasn't as good as before. And it's like the characters I liked, the morgue crew, split up. And you get the mayor's bad decision on one end of that. And then you get the wedding, which is going to be crashed by zombies and doesn't matter, on the other end of that. So yeah, you're seeing the show start to get less focused again, starting to do plot points I don't care about, and you're seeing the mayor make one of her worst decisions in the series. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, After episode 3, I was hoping we'd get better and better. I was hoping we'd get on the right trajectory, and this is a step down. Not as down as 1 and 2, but it's a step down, and it makes me wonder, will this show just keep kind of getting okay and then kind of bad and then okay and kind of bad? I was hoping that we'd start getting really good, and as the series does move along, there is more zombies, and that's just simply harder to mess up. So I think the rest will get slowly better. Sadly, slowly better as opposed to at a good rate, So, yeah, this was a step down, but it's not all the way down, And next episode is episode 5. So, in episode 5, that will be the halfway point. There's 10 episodes this season. I'm curious to see where we get when we're halfway through, because that's an interesting place. So I'm definitely curious what we're doing there. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see more, you can click there and see more. This should be my Romero Zombies extended playlist. You can find all the previous episodes reviewed there, as well as me talking about a bunch of other loosely related Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead stuff, 3D Reanimation, Day of the Dead 2 Contagium. Some of those episodes are kind of old, but I've been talking about this franchise for quite a bit. There's a a lot to talk about. And anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Romero Zombies Extended Franchise playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.